Hi, my name is David Fleming from Disciples Ignited, and we are studying Gems in John, devotional thoughts throughout the Gospel of John. Now, we've just studied in John chapter 6 how Jesus fed the multitudes with only 5 loaves of bread and 2 fish. And then later on, when the crowds come to him, he's trying to teach them that he'll do much more for them than just giving them bread that's going to only last them for just one meal. He wants to give them living bread, eternal bread. And so this opens up a whole discussion between Jesus and the multitudes. And it just goes to show you how we so often misinterpret what Jesus is saying to us. We're thinking one thing and he's dealing with another. Let's get into it. I'll be reading to you John chapter 6, starting with verse 32. Jesus said to them, "Very truly I tell you, it is not Moses who is giving you the bread from heaven, but it is my Father who gives you the true bread from heaven." Now, who's he talking about? He's talking about himself. For the bread of God is the bread that comes down from heaven and gives life to the world. Now, the masses that Jesus is speaking to, they're thinking that Jesus is just referring to the manna that came down to the Israelites while they were wandering throughout the wilderness. But then they respond to Jesus and said, "Sir, always give us this bread." They think this is great. So, Lord, you're going to be our supermarket. You're going to give us bread every day, just like God did the Israelites when they were traveling throughout the wilderness. We'll never have to go to the market again. You're going to give us bread from heaven. Great. That's not what Jesus was talking about at all. He started talking about how he is the bread of life that God has sent from heaven so that they could receive eternal life, not just bread for one meal. Well, starting in verse 35 of chapter 6, we find, "Then Jesus declared, 'I am the bread of life. Whoever comes to me will never go hungry, and whoever believes in me will never be thirsty. But as I told you, you have seen me, and still you do not believe. All those the Father gives me will come to me, and whoever comes to me I will never drive away. For I have come down from heaven not to do my will, but to do the will of him who sent me.'" Otherwise, Jesus is preparing them to receive the truth that he is the living bread that has come down from heaven that will give them eternal life. And if they'll just come to him, if they will just receive, he will never turn them away. But their minds are still just thinking about Jesus is going to give us bread miraculously every day. This is great. Well, let's dig a little bit deeper and see what Jesus says to all this. In verse 39, "And this is the will of him who sent me, that I shall lose none of all those that he has given me, but raise them up at the last day. For my Father's will is that everyone who looks to the Son and believes in him shall have eternal life, and I will raise him up at the last day." So Jesus has cut through all the misunderstanding, and he's saying, this is what God is offering you. I am the living bread that God has sent from heaven to give you more than just bread for one meal, but to give you eternal life if you'll just come to me and receive me, the living bread. This just shows us that when Jesus speaks to us, are we really hearing what he's saying? Or are our minds just thinking about what we want? They wanted Jesus to give them temporal blessings, and he does that. But Jesus has so much more for us, y'all. He has something of eternal value, eternal life. and it's only found in Jesus. So let Jesus do so much more for you than just give you temporal blessings. Come to Jesus and receive the real gift that he has for you that will last for eternity. And that gift is eternal life in him. Oh, that's just one of many different gems in the Gospel of John that we want to share with you. So join with me tomorrow and we'll study another one. See you then.